Okay, before we install the motor, we're going to drill through the engine mount clips so that we can use a servo screw or whatever's suitable down inside that hole. It'll go through into there and it'll link with that side. You'll be drilling through here so that screw holds the rear of the nacelle with its engine to the front half. When it's running, it'll actually be pushing it in anyway, so it's not trying to fall apart. Anyway, it's important to try and get this in as tight as you can before you drill it. So you want a nice neat fit, and you just want to pop a little hole. I've got a 1.5mm drill bit on my knockoff Dremel, and there's a hole in the center there which you want to get right in the middle of, and basically just double check, yep, I can see the hole, get it in there, hold that tight. There we go, got a nice neat hole. Yeah, now do the other side. So these screws will tap into that hole. The hole is slightly smaller than the screw. Okay, we're done with that. You don't want it to go all the way through to there. You can go through to this bit, but it doesn't really matter. And you will find you get little burrs on there. That's probably a good idea to clean them away, otherwise it won't go on and off as neatly as it should. But anyway, when I put the screw in there, that'll tap into that hole. Okay, now here's the EDF, the 50mm EDF. Note the length on that is important. So if you're getting a different brand, you've got a carbon fibre rod that goes in there. This has to clear it, so you can't just put any old EDF. You've got to get one with, as long as you know what the length is there. I think it's 38mm from the rear face to here. So I've extended the leads by about 130mm. I think I just made up some extension leads. You can extend this part to the ESC, you can't extend the battery lead. And this has worked out quite well. You will need the extension in order to get into the fuselage. It's a bit desperate getting this in otherwise. Now there's a little hole down there, it comes out here, and these have to go through that before they go through the inner wing. And this is a bit fiddly, so you really need to do this before you hot glue in the motor. If you're trying to do it afterwards, well, you might just have to undo all the hot glue and do it again. Okay. So that's one. That's 2 leads. There's not a lot of room to spare. You don't really want too much air leakage coming out of here either, so just for the efficiency of the motor. Oh, battery's charged. Okay, third one, so that's 3 leads. Nice if they're sort of coordinated to be flat. You won't get the plugs through all together, so you're going to have to pull these through one at a time. As I said, this is quite a fiddly job. You want to do it before you've hot glued the motor in. It's permanent fitting. That's one. showing you this just to show that it's possible. Because sometimes you can sit there thinking, this is impossible. How did this guy design it? What are we putting on there? Okay, is that the yellow one? Yes, it is possible. No, it is not quick. Maybe if I do this 100 times, it'll get quicker. And I'll probably speed this up. Ah, there we go. And one more plug. That's the black one. There we go. All 3 leads are out. Now make sure that that side is the side going to the hole. Don't want that going any further than it has to inside the exhaust duct. Now I've wrapped tape, just like masking tape, around there to give a neat fit. And this has been installed so there's a slight offset in these lugs. If you've installed the ring in the wrong way around, I'll just cut the little lugs off. Doesn't really matter. So that seats against this wall here for minimum leak. And pull those through, make sure they're... Now we want to hold that down so that it's seated. This is where we get the hot glue gun out. That's all we need. Try not to burn your fingers. And we just smear it around. Make sure that it's held down while you're doing this. Make sure you've got enough hot glue in the gun to complete the job. Okay. And don't stick it to your finger like that. Okay, well I've just got enough, so I should add another stick to put in there. So hold it down until it's set. And I guess when it's set, tug on it a few times to make sure that it's keyed in properly. Okay, that's pretty well how that works. Okay, these servo screws are long enough to go all the way through the inner tab. Not long enough to go into the engine mount ring, but I do have to make sure it drills through that. So anyway, I've drilled the first part, so I guess fairly simple. Just get to there. Go the extra bit. Trim it off. So that these holes could be slightly bigger, but anyway, there we go. We put in the servo screw. Sometimes helps just to drill that out just a little bit so the little washer on the end of the servo screw can get in there. Once it gets to the PLA, the regular PLA, it will self-tap its way through. Yes. Screw only holds things in shear, so you don't have to worry about it pulling out when it's operating. So there you go, and you feel it just tighten up when it reaches the base in there. So that's what's going to go through that hole there, which we already drilled when it was lined up. So I'll just back that out so that's clear of the slot. Same with the other one. Make sure there's no little bit of plastic on there. We've installed that motor already. Get this the right way up. Wrong way around. It's pretty obvious if you get it the wrong way. Do up the screw. Obviously don't over tighten, but you can sort of feel when it gets to the bottom. And it just tightens up a little bit. There we go. Just there. So, slight gap there. I wish I didn't have that, but anyway, it's not the end of the world. There we go, and servo wire is going to loop through there for the aileron. And this is where we're going to put the tabs in, the key into the inner wing and the outer wing. Okay, I'll have to pre-drill those afterwards.